It all started during one of the longest summers of my life. My name is Jacob and I had just turned 17. My dad had remarried earlier that year and I was still trying to figure out how to coexist with my new stepmom, Melissa. She was younger than I had expected, only in her early 30s and nothing like the image of a wicked stepmother. Melissa was kind, always smiling and tried really hard to be involved in my life, but something about her felt off. It wasn't that she was unkind. It was more like she was trying too hard to be the perfect parental figure and I couldn't figure out why. My real mom had passed away 3 years ago. It was sudden and tragic and the loss left a hole in my chest that no one, not even my dad, could fill. When he introduced Melissa into our lives, I wasn't exactly thrilled. He met her during a business seminar in Chicago and within a year they were married. It felt fast to me, but my dad seemed genuinely happy for the first time in a long while, so I tried to accept her. I tried to be okay. That summer we all took a trip to my dad's lake house in Wisconsin. It was a place where I had spent countless summers with my mom fishing, swimming, and watching movies under the stars. Being back there stirred old memories, some comforting, others painful. Melissa had never been there before and she was excited to see a part of my dad's past. She walked through the rooms like she was stepping into a museum, marveling at every photo, every piece of driftwood art my mom had placed around. One afternoon the sun was blazing hot and we had just come back from a boat ride. My dad decided to go into town to get some groceries and Melissa and I stayed back. She was in the kitchen preparing snacks while I headed to the bathroom upstairs to shower and cool off. I was only gone for about 15 minutes when I came out. Something had shifted. I walked into the living room and Melissa was standing by the fireplace holding one of the old photo albums my mom had made. Her back was to me and she was staring at a picture like she was studying it deeply. The strange thing was that photo album had been in my bedroom drawer. It wasn't on any shelf or table. My heart started to race a little. "Hey," I said trying to sound casual. "Where do you find that?" She turned slowly and smiled but there was something tight about it. "Oh, this. I just found it lying around. You don't mind, do you?" "It was in my room," I replied a bit more direct. Melissa walked toward me, closing the album. "I'm sorry, Jacob. I didn't mean to snoop. I saw your mom in these pictures. She was beautiful." I didn't know what to say. She handed me the album and I took it quickly, tucking it under my arm. "I'll put it back," I muttered. Later that night while Dad was making dinner, I couldn't stop thinking about what Melissa had been doing. My bedroom was off limits to everyone. That's where I kept all of Mom's things, her journals, her photographs, and little keepsakes she had given me. I had a weird feeling she had been looking through more than just the album. After dinner I pretended to go for a walk but doubled back quietly to the cabin. I wanted to see if anything else had been disturbed. I crept into my room and opened the bottom drawer where I kept Mom's old letters. Some were missing. I had arranged them in a certain order by date and a few were completely out of place. One envelope was turned inside out like it had been opened recently. I confronted Melissa the next morning. "Did you read any letters in my room?" I asked while Dad was out on the porch. She looked startled, then offended. "Jacob, I said I was sorry about the photo album, but no, I didn't read your letters." I didn't believe her. There was too much evidence, but I dropped it. For the next few days I kept my distance. She tried making small talk, asking if I wanted to go kayaking or play cards. I just gave her short answers and stayed away. Something was gnawing at my gut and I couldn't let it go. One night I had trouble sleeping. I got up to grab a glass of water and as I passed Melissa and Dad's bedroom I heard whispering. I stopped. The door was slightly cracked and I could hear Melissa's voice. She was crying softly. "I don't know if he'll ever forgive me," she said, "but he has to know. He deserves to know." I froze. Who was she talking about? Was she talking about me? The next morning she seemed more anxious than usual. She barely touched her breakfast and when Dad said he was going to take the car to get gas, she jumped at the chance to go with him. I stayed behind again. I didn't know what to think anymore. My curiosity was on fire. While they were gone, I checked Melissa's bag. I know it was a huge invasion of privacy, but after everything I had to know what she was hiding inside. I found a folded letter. My name was written on the outside in unfamiliar handwriting. I opened it. The letter was from my mom, or at least it was a copy of a letter she had written. It was dated 2 months before she passed away. In the letter she wrote about someone named Melissa. She described her as a friend from the hospital and said she had been helping her cope with treatments. My hands trembled as I read further. I don't know how long I have, the letter read, but if Melissa ever finds her way into your life, I want you to know she's the one I trust. I see in her the strength and kindness I wish I had. More time to show you. She's not here to replace me. She's here because I believe she'll help you grow when I no longer can. I couldn't breathe. I dropped the letter and sat on the bed, tears pooling in my eyes. My mom had known Melissa. She had chosen her. My stepmom wasn't some random woman my dad met at a seminar. She was someone my mother trusted enough to leave behind as a guide for me. I waited for them to return. When they walked in, Melissa looked nervous. When she saw me, she must have known I found the letter. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. That night after Dad had gone to bed, I sat with her in the living room. I found the letter, I said. She nodded slowly. I figured you would. Why didn't you tell me? Melissa looked down. Because I was afraid. Afraid you'd hate me or think I was trying to replace your mom. I wasn't. I never was. You knew her, I whispered. You were with her when she was sick. Melissa's eyes welled up. We met at the hospital. I was a nurse there. She was scared, but she was also brave, and one day she asked me if I believed in second chances. I told her yes, and she said, "Then don't be afraid to love my family when I'm gone." The room fell silent except for the sound of the clock ticking. I never thought your dad would reach out, she continued, but when he did, I knew it was fate. I just didn't know how to explain it to you without it sounding crazy. I nodded, absorbing everything. My heart felt heavy, but not in a bad way. It felt like the weight of truth had finally landed. Everything changed that day, not just how I saw Melissa but how I saw myself. I realized that love doesn't always come in the form we expect. Sometimes it comes through old letters, whispered wishes, and people brave enough to keep a promise.